Namaste, lovelies. This is Belinda Pearl, and welcome to this weekly Oracle Cosmic Insight journey that we'll be going on as the Woven We Are platform is finding its divine design to be shared with you. So I was just thinking there's a lot of astrology going on. There's so much astrology that is so powerful in such a big way. It's not that it necessarily all of this changes from one week to the other. That's the other thing too. You see it as a big story unfolding. It's not just oh, this is happening. This has been happening for a long time. This we talk about divine design. This design has been set up for eons, maybe from beginning, how everything is. But this evolutionary time that we're in is quite amazing. If you look at it from an astrological perspective or cosmic perspective, you'll start to see this waking up call that's actually coming through, and it's also asking us to focus on the energy, where we want to focalize our energy. What is it that you're focalizing your energy on every day? And this is a deep question but it's to be truthful with yourself, because this idea too is the South Node in Sagittarius is be truthful now. It's time of a greater awakening, one that you maybe through time, through conditioning, through belief systems has been clouded over. And there's also this idea astrologically, cosmically, of something that's been veiled, that's been discovered. And so there's this veiling as well, unveiling, and then this comet returning too on this 6,800 I think orbit, something like that. And the last time that this happened, there was a change in consciousness, or a transition in consciousness. Back then it was from feminine to masculine, and supposedly if we could depict or prophesize that it would be then from masculine to feminine again. So we could say, oh yeah, then this makes also a lot of sense. It's also about trusting and faith on the path. As I'm talking to you, I'm hearing this energy. So sometimes when I'm talking like this, it's just pure channeling. And so it's awareness, and it's all these ideas that are coming to formulating together. So today I'm going to read with these oracle cards. I've been reading with them this week, and it's been entertaining because there's themes that are appearing. And so I'm not going to put any ideas into the cards quite yet of what's been happening this week. I'm going to keep my mind clear so that we can just ask for clear guidance to come through. And I always invite you to, as you watch this or listen to this, to take a moment and to just see what it is that you need to hear from this, because the way I share this forward is that every time you hear this is actually medicine for your ears, and it's part of your internal, external awakening, which is the greater question of what we really want to step into. What is it that you want to step into? What do I want to step into? We've been asked that question quite profoundly. So let's keep our eyes closed, a breath full in our body, and asking for pure guidance to come through. And so it is. Sometimes it takes a while for the feeling to come through. And there's so much. I'll just show you the card because I'm laughing. I don't know. We've just stepped into Leo, and the card before this that I did this breath work and astrology practice experience with a few people. It was a similar card. It was about stepping into strength, goddess of strength, and it was very similar colors too, and feminine rising. And I just was speaking about feminine rising, so you can see the feminine rising here. It says, angel of new life, an exciting new chapter in your life is about to unfold. Well, everything I've just said, that's what's happening in this astrology, is that if we look at it from a greater perspective, the invitation is for you to step forward into your arising, or your arriving, or your birthing. From an astrological point of view, what's happening too, it's we're at this point of the caterpillar has moved into the pupa and we dissolved, and this is new formulation happening, but it's still part of the dissolving happening. We see in the dissolving, maybe there's even that last part where every caterpillar cell wants to hold on to its last form, but then eventually it melts into this pot. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of the imagery I'm seeing. But it's time for a great awakening. Even this shape here is like, I was in the astrology practice we did before this, breathwork and astrology, this idea of this circle, this divine feminine, the circle is here again, and this orbit of this Neowise is the comet too, and I don't know exactly the shape of his orbit too, but he's supposed to bring through, and I'm not giving him, but it's this new wisdom. And so it's time for us to like step into this power. This feminine is this circle. That's what I was trying to get at. It's like step into our power. This divine feminine wants to rise. She is arising. Angel of new life. It's like almost a permission card, if you will. You know, sun's arrived in Leo. So again, it's like step into your highest creativity. In fact, when you look at the astrology from a higher perspective too, it's part of this great awakening too that I've been speaking about. But it's got this piece that's, I just wrote it down, like stepping into your spiritual mastery. This is Aries, Mars in Aries. This is your hero coming home. I may have spoken about this last week, or sometime I've spoken about it, because it's about the hero coming home, stepping into your spiritual mastery. This is like the greater image that you can see of yourself, whether you assign masculine or feminine to yourself. There's a part of your soul that is rising and wishes to rise. And so it's time to communicate that essence out into the world. And also this is part of our spiritual mastery, which is part of our spiritual communication. We all frequency, we all vibration. So what you're holding inside of you is the vibration that you bring into the world. So if you want to align with like a higher part of yourself for the higher part of humanity, then it's time for you to become clear with like every part of your vibration. It's like if you really want to step onto the path, it's practice it every day. And it's like takes all of that practice to birth something new. And this is what we're going through. We're deciding what we want, where we want to focalize our energy. See how she's also like her head's in the light. And that's an idea, it's an invitation. You put your head in the light. You can see the world for what it is. There's a story I told earlier on about this warrior and eating a sandwich in the middle of a battlefield. And but he was in fact in a meadow, and it's just this like where we put our minds, where we focalize our attention. And he was so saturated in the light that the battlefield around him couldn't harm him. He has had this thick armor that was his faith and his trust. So I don't know, I always find that this time, as I look at this high perspective, yeah, we're moving into a powerful time for great awakening. So it's always an invitation, step onto that place of feeding your inspiration of the possibility of a great awakening, that's new age, that's Aquarian age energy. Everything's aligned to show that. Or you stay locked in that 3D mindset, if you will, of hanging back on fear and feeding the fear, because that's all it is, and worry. It's like every worry that comes up, just see it what it is. It's typically just something that's created in the head. Maybe if we just lived life and just thought that the possible outcome would come out of it as we move through whatever showed up, there's always this lesson, that stoic sort of attitude, if you will. It's like life will show up, but I'm going to take the best possible attitude. That's new life too, breeding new life in. So I don't know, hopefully all of this made some sense somewhere. I always laugh at it because I repeat things because I hear things and they come in a certain way, and then they want to be said again. And then they say, but this is the great message. We want you to hear this. So that's why it doesn't matter when you listen to it, I always believe that this will be exactly the right message for you as we're on this path. The same as the astrology that's unfolding. It's like a big storybook, if you will, and we're reading it. So it's an invitation to a higher mind, a higher way of being. So hopefully that makes sense. Again, from my heart to yours. May always be blessed. Namaste. And again, this is Belinda Pro for Woven We Are, and we're creating this beautiful platform for you. So I look forward to seeing you soon. Alexandra looks forward to seeing you soon too. Namaste.